Eli sat by the window, staring at the night sky. It was quiet in his small apartment on Luna Station, but his mind was full of noise, memories, laughter, conversations, and most of all, her name was Mira. She had moved to another colony. 6 months ago, far across the star system, for a research assignment. It was a great opportunity. Everyone said so. Eli had even told her to take it, smiling like he meant it. But now, every day without her felt heavier. He looked at the photo on his desk. It was the two of them, taken right before she left. Her arm was around his shoulder. His smile looked real, but he remembered the ache in his chest even back then. Eli rubbed his eyes and turned away from the window. Space travel had made the universe smaller, but emotions still took time to cross the distance. He hadn't talked to Mira much lately. Their messages had become shorter, less frequent. She was always busy. Or maybe, maybe she just didn't miss him the same way. That thought hurt the most. He sat at his desk and opened the message app. Her name was still pinned at the top. He clicked it, read the last message she had sent 3 weeks ago. Hey. Sorry, super busy again. Miss you too. I'll ping you soon. She hadn't pinged. He started typing a message, then stopped. What would he even say? I miss you. I feel like I'm losing you. It sounded too heavy, too needy. He deleted the message. Again. Instead, he opened his journal. He had been writing in it a lot lately. It wasn't poetry or anything fancy, just feelings. Just thoughts that had nowhere else to go. I don't blame her. She has a life there. She's doing great. I'm proud of her. But I miss her so much, it physically hurts sometimes. I wonder if she knows that. I wonder if she ever sits by her window thinking of me too. He closed the journal and leaned back in his chair. It was strange, he thought. Humans had built ships that could travel faster than light. They had cured hundreds of diseases. They had walked on alien worlds. But no one had invented something to fix a lonely heart. Still, humans were strange in another way too. They didn't give up easily. Eli stood up. He walked over to the window again. A tiny blinking star on the horizon marked the direction of the Arrow's colony, Mira's new home. He raised a hand as if waving at her across the sky. I'm still here, he whispered. He didn't have the perfect words. He didn't have a great plan. But he had hope. And that was something humans always held on to, even when things felt broken. Even when they were afraid, suddenly an idea came to him. Eli opened his old files and found the video clips they had recorded together over the years' hikes on Mars. Silly cooking fails on the station, deep talks on quiet nights. He smiled. At each one, he stayed up all night editing, adding small notes. Pieces of his heart. Not dramatic. Just honest. By morning, he sent the file. No long message. Just a title, thought you might like to remember, too. And then he waited. A whole day passed. Then 2. No reply. On the 3rd day, just as he was about to lose hope, a message pinged back. It was a video. He opened it with shaking hands. Mira was smiling. Tired. A little teary, but smiling. I didn't realize how much I needed this, she said softly. I miss you more than I can say. I didn't know how to talk about it either. But thank you for reminding me. I haven't forgotten. I'll never forget. Eli felt something in his chest unlock. She hadn't moved away from him. Just away in space, in the human heart, stubborn and full of light, could cross galaxies when it needed to. Even across the stars, they still remembered each other. Asterisk. Lena sat alone in the green garden dome on Europa Station. Around her, tall plants reached toward the artificial sun. Flowers didn't know she was lonely. The air smelled like life, but all she felt was emptiness. She used to walk this garden with Sam. He used to laugh at how she always paused to touch the petals. He'd say, "You treat flowers like old friends." And she would smile. But Sam wasn't here anymore. He had transferred to a different Outpost 1 orbiting Titan. It was a good move for his career in engineering. Lena had told him to go, just like a good friend should. She had said you'll be amazing there. And he had hugged her before leaving. That was 8 months ago now. She sat on the same garden bench every week, hoping one day he might walk in again, just like before. But space didn't work that way. She pulled out her communicator. His name was still there in her contacts. She scrolled through their old messages, each one shorter than the last. The last text she had sent said, "Hope the new place is treating you well," he had answered. "It's cold, but good. Talk soon." But soon hadn't come. Lena sighed and stared at the leaves above her. She didn't know what to say. No, she didn't want to be annoying. Maybe he had moved on. Maybe he was just busy. Or maybe he missed her too, but didn't know how to say it. She whispered to herself, "Do you ever think of me, Sam?" A gentle voice broke the silence. "You talking to the flowers again?" It was Dr. Heon, the station's botanist, smiled kindly as he watered a small vine nearby. Lena smiled weakly. Maybe. Heon looked at her for a moment. Then he sat beside her. "You know, plants are a lot like people. They grow best when they feel connected. But when they're far from sunlight or water, they start to wilt." Quietly, Lena blinked. "You think people wilt too?" He nodded. "Yes, but people are lucky. They can reach out, even across space." She looked down at her hands. "It's just hard. What if I say too much? Or not enough? What if it's one-sided?" Dr. Heon smiled. "Humans are special because they care, even when it's hard. That's what makes us strong. That's what makes us human." Lena didn't answer right away. But later that night, she sat at her desk and opened her old sketchpad. Drawing helped her think. She drew the garden, then the bench. Then, without meaning to, she drew Sam, smiling. She looked at the picture for a long time. Then she turned on her recorder. Her voice shook at first. "Hi, Sam. I don't really know what to say. I miss you. I miss talking. I miss walking in the garden with you. I know you're far, and maybe you're busy, but I just wanted to let you know I still think of you. I hope you're okay." She paused. "That's all. Take care." She didn't send it right away. She stared at the message for a full hour, but finally, with a deep breath, she clicked send. Then she waited. The next day came and went. No reply. She felt silly, but the day after, just as she was about to delete the message, her screen lit up. Message from Sam. Incoming call. Her heart raced as she answered. His face appeared. It's tired, scruffy, but familiar. "And smiling, Lena," he said. Softly, "You have no idea how much I needed to hear your voice." Tears came to her eyes. "I didn't know if I should say anything," she whispered. "I was thinking the same," he replied. "I kept opening your contact, wondering if it was okay to reach out, but I didn't know how." They laughed through the tears. That night, they talked for hours about life, about stars, about the little things they hadn't shared in so long. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and for the first time in months, Lena felt warm again. Maybe. Space was big. Maybe people could get lost in it. But humans had something special, a heart that didn't quit, a mind that still hoped, and a spirit that kept reaching out. Even in silence, even in distance, they still found each other. Juno sat on her bunk aboard the research ship Andromeda Drift, orbiting the edge of the Hellion belt. Her tablet glowed faintly in her hands, but she wasn't reading. She was staring at a blank message draft. Again, the message was meant for Elias. She had written and deleted at least a dozen versions in the last 2 weeks. None of them felt right. She didn't know how to say what she really wanted. "I miss you. Are you okay? Why did we stop talking?" Everything sounded too much. Or not enough. They had met during training at Lunar Base Delta. She remembered the way. Elias always made jokes when everyone else was tense. He had this way of making hard days feel lighter. They had become fast friends, maybe even more than that, though neither of them ever said it out loud. Then came the assignment orders. He was posted to a mission near Proxima. She was headed to the edge of Helion, light years apart. "Don't be a stranger," he had said with a crooked smile. Never. She'd promised at first, They messaged every day. Shared photos, silly updates, even a song playlist they both added to. But over time, the messages slowed down. His responses came days late, then weeks. And now, it had been over a month. Still, Juno checked her inbox every night before bed, and every night it was empty. She sighed and stood up. The window above her bunk showed a view of the stars, endless and cold. She pressed her hand to the glass and whispered, "Where are you, Elias?" The ship's AI chimed suddenly.
Wow.
"You have been idle for 20 minutes. Would you like to continue? Composing your message?" She blinked. "No. Cancel it." "Understood." She sat down again, feeling foolish. Why was this so hard? She had faced space storms, data errors, and emergency drills without fear. But reaching out to someone she cared about, that made her heart beat faster than any danger. Maybe he didn't feel the same anymore. Maybe he had moved on. But something inside her refused to give up. The next morning, she took her breakfast to the observation deck, her favorite place. A quiet corner with large windows filled with real plants in glass domes. Another crew member was there, Captain Wren. He nodded politely as she sat down. "You look like someone with something on her mind," she said after a moment. Juno smiled. "A little? You could say that. Someone back home?" She nodded slowly. "Someone far away," and took a sip of his tea and looked out the window. "I remember when my daughter left Earth for the first time," he said. "You joined a science academy on Mars. I didn't hear from her for months. I kept thinking she must have forgotten me. But then one day, she sent a message, just one line. 'Hi, Dad. I still keep my cereal spoon on the left side like you taught me.'" He chuckled. Sometimes the smallest words carry the biggest feelings. Juno looked down at her tray. She felt a small warmth in her chest. "Thank you, Captain." In her room, she sat again in front of the message draft. She didn't try to write a perfect speech. This time, she just wrote what felt real. "Hey, Elias. I don't know if you're still checking messages. That's okay. I just wanted to say, I was thinking about you today. I hope you're safe out there. Also, I saw a floating jellyfish star yesterday. Made me think of that dumb poem you sent me once." I smiled. "Just wanted you to know." She didn't wait. She clicked send. This time, she didn't expect anything. But the next evening, she came back from the lab. There was a message waiting her. Hands trembled as she opened it. "Juno, I've been thinking about you too. I've just been bad at saying it. The days feel long here without your voice. I'm glad you remembered the poem. I miss your laugh. Send more stars. I'll write back faster this time. Promise." Her eyes filled with tears, but they were happy ones. Because even when humans lose touch, they still remember. Even when words get lost, feelings stay. And even across space, they still find their way back. Aaron used to play his guitar every evening. It was a habit that brought him peace after long shifts at the mining station. The sound echoed softly through the narrow halls of the Mars outpost. People liked it. Sometimes they stopped outside his door to listen. But lately, the music had stopped because Aaliyah was gone. She had transferred to Jupiter's Callisto moon for an engineering role. It was her dream job. Aaron had celebrated with her when she got it. He had hugged her tightly at the shuttle port, trying to hide the lump in his throat. She had promised to keep in touch. They messaged at first. They even shared songs. Elia loved music as much as he did. She used to hum along while he played. But now, weeks had passed without a word. Aaron sat on his bunk, his guitar across his lap. But he didn't strum the strings, just stared at it, feeling a weight in his chest. He missed her, more than just her voice. He missed her presence, the way she laughed, the way she always sat cross-legged on the floor with her tablet while he played songs. Her energy. Her light. He had tried writing messages, but every time he stopped. What if she was just busy? Or what if she had simply moved on? Maybe it had meant more to him than it did to her. He looked around his room. On the wall, a small poster she had given him was still taped up, a faded star map with the words, "Distance means nothing to those who care." Aaron touched the corner of the poster gently. "I care," he whispered. Then, slowly, he picked up the guitar again. He didn't think. He just started playing. A soft, simple tune filled the room. It was one of the songs they used to listen to. Together, he added his own chords, turning it into something new, something that held his feelings. And then, an idea came to him. He opened his recording app and set it up. He played the full song, no edits, no second takes. Just his heart. In the notes. When it ended, he looked into the camera. "Elia," he said softly. "I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but I miss you. Not just the messages. I miss sharing moments with you. So I'm sending this a piece of my day, a piece of me. I hope you're okay out there." He paused, unsure if he should say more. "I'll keep playing. I hope one day you'll listen again." He sent the file. Then he turned off the light and laid down. The silence felt deeper now. Scare him. He had done something. He had reached out. That was enough for tonight. 2 days passed, then 3. No reply, but on the 4th day, when he returned from the mines, he saw a small blinking light on his terminal. New file received. His heart jumped. He opened it with shaking hands. It was a video. Ilya sat in her bunk, holding a small metal harmonica he had given her before she left. She looked a little tired, but she smiled. "I didn't know how to reply," she said. "I thought maybe you were better off without me. But when I heard your song, I cried. I didn't even realize how much I missed you too." She held up the harmonica. "I'm out of tune, but here's something back." She played a simple tune, shaky, sweet, full of feeling. Then she said, "Keep playing, Aaron. I'll keep listening." Aaron sat there for a long time, the warmth in his chest growing stronger. The distance hadn't changed, but something important had. Returned connection. Hope human hearts, they didn't need perfect words or perfect timing. Just the courage. To keep reaching. To keep singing. To believe that somewhere someone was still listening. Even across space, they still remembered the music. Milo walked through the quiet hall of the education dome on Ganymede Colony. He was the youngest teacher there, but today he felt much older than 20-5. His steps echoed as he passed rows of empty desks. Class was over, the students had left, but Milo stayed behind. He sat at his desk, pulled out a small box from the drawer, and took out a colorful postcard. It showed a sunset over Earth's golden light touching the ocean waves. His fingers traced the image. On the back were words he had written weeks ago. "Hi. Tessa, I saw this and thought of you. Do you still watch sunsets where you are? I hope your new job's going well. I miss talking to you. I miss us." He never sent it. Tessa had been his best friend. Maybe more, though neither of them had. Said it clearly. She had moved to a research base on Neptune's orbit 6 months ago. The goodbye had been fast. Too fast. She had hugged him and said, "Don't forget me." He had promised, never. But time passed. Messages slowed, then stopped. He didn't know why. Maybe she got busy. Maybe she found someone new. Maybe she just forgot. He sighed and looked around the classroom. On the wall, a poster Tessa had made, still hung up. "Every star is a chance to try again." He smiled weakly. She had always believed in hope. He pulled out an old tablet from his bag. On it were dozens of unsent messages, short notes, photos, jokes. He'd written one almost every week, but he never clicked send. Something always stopped him. Fear, doubt, silence. Today, something felt different. A quiet pull inside him like the stars were waiting. He opened the camera and started recording. "Hi, Tessa," he said, voice low. "I don't know if you still check these. I'm not even sure if this will reach you. Here, but I've written you so many times, I guess I just didn't know if I should bother you." He paused and looked down. "I miss our talks. I miss how you used to laugh at my bad jokes. I hope you're okay out there. I hope someone is bringing you tea when you're tired." He held up the postcard. "I found this and thought of you. You always loved sunsets. I thought maybe you'd like to see it." Then he ended the message and hit send before he could stop himself. He didn't expect a reply. That night, he sat on the rooftop garden and looked up at the stars. Somewhere, out there, Tessa was under a different sky. He whispered, "I hope you're still watching." 2 days later, during a lesson, his communicator buzzed. A message. Her hair was longer, her voice was soft. "Milo," she said, "I got your postcard and your message. I've been reading your words all along. I just didn't know how to answer. Thought maybe you were better off. Maybe I was too far." She looked into the camera, eyes full of feeling. "But I missed you. Every day. I still watch the sunsets here, even if they're different. I think of you during them. Always." She smiled, tears in her eyes. "Thank you for not forgetting. I never did either." Milo watched the video 3 times, and he laughed. Through his own tears, the distance hadn't changed, but the silence had. Hope had crossed the stars again, and he knew then. Humans are strong not because they have fast ships or tall buildings, but because they never stop caring, never stop trying, even when it hurts. Even when they don't know how, they still reach out. And sometimes, someone reaches back. Naomi lived in a small room aboard the orbital science station Silverlight, circling a quiet moon near Saturn. Every morning, she woke up, made tea, and looked at the same thing, an old paper calendar taped to the wall. Each month had a photo of Earth forests, oceans, snowy peaks. She had brought it with her from home, but it wasn't the pictures that mattered most. It was the small note written in blue ink at the corner of January. Message that simply read, "Good luck out there. You'll do amazing things, Drew." Drew was her closest friend, maybe even more, though she never told him. He had stayed on Earth to teach environmental science, while she had taken this position in deep space. Everyone said it was a brilliant career move, but it came with silence. At first they had talked every few days, then once a week, then only short messages. Now, it had been nearly a month since she'd heard from him. She didn't blame him. Life moved forward. People got busy. But deep inside, she still checked her inbox each night before sleep, hoping for a message. None came. She missed him more than she'd like to admit. The hardest part wasn't the silence. It was not knowing what to say anymore. She wanted to tell him she missed him, that some days felt colder without his words. But she didn't know how to begin. What if it made things awkward? What if he didn't feel the same? That morning, she stared again at the note on her calendar. She ran her fingers gently over the ink, now faded. "You believed in me," she whispered, "but I never told you how much that meant." Later, while doing sensor readings near the control deck, she bumped into Dr. Mahir, an older crew member who had been on more space missions than anyone else. "You look troubled," he said kindly. Naomi gave a soft smile, just thinking about someone far away. Dr. Mahir nodded. "The hardest thing in space isn't the distance between stars. The distance between hearts." She was quiet. He continued, "When I was your age, I had someone I cared about. I let silence grow too long. When I finally reached out, she told me she had waited every day for my message. Don't let silence win, Naomi. Even a small message can bring someone back." That night, Naomi sat at her desk. The calendar beside her seemed to glow softly in the lamplight. She opened a new message draft. At first, she stared at the screen, unsure. Then, she started typing. Not perfectly, just honestly. Double quotes. "Hi, Drew. I don't know if you still check these often, and that's okay. I just wanted to say, I've been thinking about you a lot. I miss our talks, miss your little science jokes. The station is quiet, but the quiet feels louder without you in it. I hope you're doing okay. Just wanted you to know you're not forgotten out here." She stared at the message, then hit send. She leaned back, heart racing but lighter. She had done her part. It's what mattered. The next day passed. Then the next. On the third day, a reply came. It was short, Naomi. "I miss you too. Started writing you messages a dozen times, but never sent them. Thought maybe you had moved on. Thank you for reaching out. You just made my whole week." "Better." She smiled through quiet tears. She looked at the January note again. It was still there, Same words, same ink. But now they felt closer, because even across the coldness of space, even across silence and time, people still cared, and humans, they never gave up on each other. Not really. Not ever. Marcus sat alone in the communications room of the asteroid mining station. The low hum of machines surrounded him, but inside a deep silence had settled. He looked at the old radio equipment, hoping to catch a signal from somewhere unaware, but especially from her. Her name was Naomi. She had moved to a research station orbiting Saturn's moon. The transfer was sudden, and Marcus hadn't had time to say much. Just a quick goodbye. At first they sent messages, daily long talks about the stars. Their dreams, silly jokes to make each other laugh. But now weeks passed without a single word. Marcus felt the ache of absence. It was heavier than any rock they mined out here. He didn't know how to fix it. How to reach her when the signals felt lost in the vastness of space. How to say that he missed her more than he could put into words. He turned on the radio, fingers trembling. He tried calling her station, but only static answered. He sat back, eyes closed, and whispered, "Naomi, can you hear me?" The silence stayed. Marcus thought about giving up. But then he remembered something his grandfather told him once, about the first radio signals Earth sent into space. Those signals were weak, his grandfather said, but they carried hope that someone out there might listen. Marcus smiled faintly. Humans were built to keep trying, to never stop believing. He pulled out a small tape recorder he had brought from Earth. On it were recorded messages he had never sent. One by one, played them aloud, speaking slowly, honestly. Double quotes, "Naomi, this is Marcus. Know if you'll ever get these messages, but I want you to know I'm here. I miss you. I hope you're safe. I hope you still remember me." He played the last one, then inspired Marcus began recording a new message. "I'm sending this out in the hopes that one day it finds you. No matter the distance, no matter the silence, you're not forgotten. And I'm not giving up on us." He smiled, feeling the familiar warmth of hope bloom inside. Days passed. Then one morning, a new message appeared on his screen. It was from Naomi. Her face was tired, but her eyes shone bright. "I heard your voice, Marcus. The messages I missed. You too, more than I can say. The silence scared me, but hearing you again gives me hope. Let's not let the stars keep us apart." Marcus sat back, tears in his eyes, even across the endless space between them. Their hearts had found a way, because humans never stop reaching out. They never stop hoping, and love, like the stars, can shine forever. Sophia sat in the quiet cabin of the transport ship Starliner Horizon. She stared out the window, watching the stars drift past like distant memories. She had spent the last year on a distant colony, working as a medic. It was important work. She was proud. But something had felt empty, because someone she cared about most was far away. That someone was Lucas. He had stayed behind on Earth, tending to his own life. When she left, they promised to stay close, but over time the calls and messages had faded. The distance was not just in miles, it was in feelings. Growing heavier each day, Sophia missed him. She missed the small things, his smile, the way he talked about the rain, his quiet strength. She wanted to reach out but didn't know how. She wondered if Lucas still thought of her. The ship's gentle hum reminded her of the quiet nights they had spent together, dreaming of stars and futures. Suddenly, a thought came to her. She pulled out her tablet and opened the video messages she had recorded but never sent. One by one, she watched them, each message filled with hope, laughter, and a little sadness. Her fingers hovered over the screen. She realized that waiting was not the answer. She typed a simple message. "Lucas, I'm coming home. I miss you. Let's find our way back to each other." She hit send. The days passed slowly as the ship moved through space. Then, one evening, her communicator beeped. It was a video call. Lucas's face appeared, his eyes wide with surprise and joy. "Sophia," he said softly, "I never stopped waiting." Tears filled her eyes. "I'm here," she whispered. They talked for hours, sharing stories, hopes, and fears. The distance between them seemed smaller than ever. When the Starliner Horizon finally docked on Earth, Sophia stepped onto the familiar soil. Lucas was waiting, smiling. Arms open, no words were needed. Humans were not made to be alone, even across galaxies. Across silence and space, hearts could find each other, because humans never stop hoping, never stop reaching, and love always finds a way home.